Hey, what's up? How you doing, everybody? It's James Zamero here at SwitchWatch. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. It's Sunday, which means it's that time again. Yes, this is our bargain series where we help you navigate through the chaff and find the gems in the Nintendo eShop. And we've got a big one this week. It's the Nintendo Highlights of eShop sale in the EU and in the UK. This is there really to celebrate the launch of the Switch Lite and get people who pick up one of these tasty new devices to go out and splash money. So I apologise, here's my disclaimer. We cannot be blamed for you going wild and buying way too many games. With that out of the way, let's jump in and take a look at some of these games. But if you do want to pick yourself up a Switch Lite, then all you need to do is be a subscriber. So if you do enjoy this video, then please do consider doing that. And just a quick note, most of these games are not on sale in the US. Some of them are. Where they are, I've highlighted that. But let's not forget that you can buy a game in any location from any eShop. Alright, enough of that. There's too many games to cover. Let's jump in and take a look. Kicking things off with my pick of the week, it's Bastion. It's a modern classic with stunning visuals and sound that can be described as a piece of art presented in the form of an action RPG. I love the narration and story, and as well as that, you've got customization options in the game, and at 80% off, it's a no-brainer. Jordan, what's your pick this week?
What's up guys, it's Jordan here. Now, where on earth do you start with all these sales? Well, mine's pretty obvious, right? Final Fantasy, of course. Now, with almost all of them on sale, it was tough to choose which one. I could have gone with my favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy VII, but I think the better bargain here is for Final Fantasy X and X Part 2. Yep, two games bundled into one at 40% off, which makes it a no-brainer. Each game can last you 100 hours each, absolutely packed to the brim with content, and this is a far sweeter price than it originally was. Great story, great characters, great gameplay, and now a great price. It's now only £26.99 in the UK. Although you could just make the smart decision and import a physical copy from Asia, which, unlike the rubbish Western physical release, actually has both games on one cartridge. No download required. We'll pop a link below in the description if you want that instead, so you can actually own your game. Alright, that's my pick of the week.
Wow, James, this has been a crazy month. So many games dropping on the Nintendo Switch, and on top of that, bargains to be had all over the place. But you asked me to pick a game, my pick of the week, there can only be one, and that's Hollow Knight, reduced from £10.99 down to £6.59 in the UK eShop, a massive 40% off. It has bags of value. This is a game that you can get 50 hours out of, free DLC as well. It's got gorgeous visuals, a beautiful soundtrack, and the gameplay for Metroidvania fans. It has it all. Honestly, if you haven't picked this game up on the Nintendo Switch, then pick it up today without delay. That's my pick of the week. It's Hollow Knight, and if you like me and you loved Hollow Knight, then are you looking forward to Silk Song? Because I certainly am. The sequel to Hollow Knight's coming soon, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Cannot wait for that one. James, good luck with the rest of the bargains video. I know you've had to work really hard this week. Take care. See you soon, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, lads. We've got so many great games on sale this time that I've broken it down by price bracket. First up, it's games under £10. Slime Sand proves that looks can be deceiving. Swallowed by a giant worm, you have over 100 levels to explore in this weird and wonderful little platformer. Its levels are snappy and the controls and mechanics are brilliant. It's well worth a look, and there's 10 to 15 hours of gameplay here to keep you nice and busy. After Bastion, Supergiant Games followed up with Transistor, a game that we loved and gave a 9 out of 10 to. The linear story following protagonist Red is fantastic, but it's the battles that make this action RPG stand out. As well as the cyberpunk setting, it's a must-buy at 80% off. Crypt of the Necrodancer stands out as a clever and quirky experience. It's a roguelike dungeon crawler mashed together with a rhythm-based game. Each run has you learning a little bit, and there are permanent upgrades so you feel a sense of achievement as you go. There are so many variables that you can sink hours into this one. Stick It to the Man is a hilarious point-and-click adventure. It's a tale that you will enjoy if you like things like BoJack Horseman or South Park. The voice acting and 2D papercraft style really do stand out in this odd adventure that had me in stitches from beginning to end. Playdead's masterpiece Limbo needs no introduction, but if you haven't yet experienced this dark and moody platform puzzler, then it's worth knowing that the game has been ported really well onto the Nintendo Switch, whether in handheld or docked modes. This is the winner of many awards for its clever use of silhouettes. Stardew Valley is the gold standard for indie titles. It's amazing to think that one man made this huge farming and life sim. It only has 20% off, but it's such a great game that people are sinking hundreds of hours into that it's worth it if this is your cup of tea. I reviewed this one ages ago when it first came out, and I can't help but sneak a quick half an hour here and there, it's that good. Towerfall has established itself as a go-to for couch co-op play against me, Juan and the guys. The fact that you can have a blast with up to 5 friends and the simple controls which lend themselves well to a single Joy-Con make this a really compelling purchase. If you're looking for a solo experience, then this will be fun, but it won't really keep your attention for very long. The only thing holding it back was the original price, which is a little bit on the high side. At 50% off though, it's a reasonable purchase. The premise of Golf Story is, well, it's a golf game and an RPG, and the beauty of this game is how it's managed to take two perfectly standalone genres and mix them together with such a plum, such a harmonious coming together, which really makes this game a delight to play and one which is very fun. It's a game that you will not want to put down until the credits roll. I believe this is actually the first game that Juan gave a 9 out of 10 to, and you can check out his review at the top right hand corner. Thumper is a relentless rhythm-based game that takes no prisoners. It's a simple game that is executed really well, and it's addictive. It works fantastically well with headphones in whilst you're out on the move. It nails that sense of speed that many games fail to get right. The slightest hesitation will undoubtedly lead to your death, and at 50% off, it's worth considering. Neurovoider is a cyber-futuristic twin-stick shooter with RPG elements, permadeath, and some roguelike things going through it. It's a hack-and-slash rampage that's equally fun on your own or with up to 4 friends. It's manic and fast-paced with a brilliant soundtrack. Rumbo is brilliant as a party game and equally fun playing solo. It features a brilliant roster of Nindy characters and is just as fun on the Switch as it was back on the Wii U in 2015. Its colour changing mechanics and fast paced runner style are a blast to this day. The next Final Fantasy game on sale, and mine and many others' favourite game of all time, yes, it's Final Fantasy VII, the game that took the PS by storm and has found its way finally over to the Nintendo Switch. Now that it's on sale, if you want to relive this classic, or if somehow you never played it, it's definitely worth picking up. Thimbleweed Park is a love letter to classic point-and-click adventures like Monkey Island. There are strange things going on in the town of Thimbleweed, and you play as FBI agents that could basically be Mulder and Scully straight out of the X-Files. I enjoyed the game's quirky story as well as its pixel art and its breaking down of the fourth wall at times. This one at 50% off is one that's worth picking up if you enjoy this type of game. Chucklefish are no slouches, and Wargroove gives us a reinvented title to fill out the void of tactical strategy games like Advance Wars and Fire Emblems. It has charming 2D visuals that belie a tough, tactical turn-based strategy game, a worthy title to end our games under £10. Next up, we're jumping into games between £10 and £20 now that they are on sale, and first up, it's Celeste. This retro 2D platformer about climbing mountain ruins is a heartwarming tale with good gameplay, a stellar soundtrack and beautiful art. It's a kind of game that comes together and is an absolute joy to play. At 40% off, this one is a real bargain and a gem worth uncovering. Yooka-Laylee, the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, aimed to fill that 3D platformer void. Of course, since then, we've had Mario Odyssey, a game that cannot be compared. However, Yooka-Laylee in its own right is a pretty decent title. It's not the best platformer ever, but it's still a wholesome, family, fun game worth picking up at 50% off. Dead Cells takes inspiration from the likes of Castlevania and Dark Souls, mashes them together into one tight experience in the Metroidvania scene. Yes, Dead Cells is one of the best games available on the Nintendo Switch, and even with a modest 22% discount, it's still worth picking up. I would happily pay full price for this one. We've already covered Limbo, and following on from this, Playdead took everything they learned from it, put more money into it, and developed Inside. You can see what it's taken from Limbo and how it's progressed it into something more accomplished. It's dark, spooky, and bleak. This one is a visual masterpiece. LEGO Worlds took me by surprise. It doesn't follow the typical LEGO movie format. Instead, it aims to be a larger sandbox game with similarities to Minecraft. It's definitely not perfect, but I found it refreshing for LEGO fans. If you're after the classic cookie cutter LEGO story though, this isn't going to be the one for you. One of my favourite gaming memories is of my NTSC to PAL converter on the SNES. I had Contra along with that, and oh my god did I spend way too many hours in my misspent youth playing this series. It's a hell of a collection with all 10 Contra games available to play, and it's just hours of classic retro gaming fun. Where Final Fantasies 7 and 8 went for a modern world setting, 9 threw us back into a more traditional fantasy setting. The battle system is one of the better ones, and with a quality, quirky story, I'm a fan unlike many others. Jordan was pleased with the port, which you can check out on our review up at the top right hand side. Earthlock is a pretty interesting Kickstarter game that was made in 2014, but to the style of PS2 era JRPGs. It does everything pretty well, it's a good love letter, but what held it back in my opinion was its cost. Now at over 50% off, it's one worth considering if you're looking for some more of this type of action. In the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, Konami have brought back some of the classics from yesteryear, including Kid Dracula that never came to the West, well, not until now at least. Some of the games have held up better than others, but ultimately playing these on the move on your Nintendo Switch is a hit of nostalgia, taking a trip down memory lane. LEGO City Undercover throws us into a GTA Light type world where you play as a cop. It suffers from a lot of the same issues we see in this series, but it is, in my opinion, one of the better titles in that series. With a decent port to the Switch and the introduction of a basic co-op feature, it's a nice title that fans of the series will enjoy. Moving into games over £20 off, the games that are still wallet busting even when they are on sale, it's Diablo 3, the gold standard in dungeon raiding RPGs. This one is still worth playing today, whether you're on the move, whether you're at home, whether you're playing with a friend and doing that one more raid. Either way, you will definitely still enjoy this one. The One Piece series is a perfect fit for this over-the-top Musou style beat-em-up. It dips into the source material, is full of loads of content and is presented like an anime, a winning package overall. If you're familiar with this style of game, then know that you'll be smashing hundreds of enemies in these over-the-top battles to your heart's content. Crash Team Racing is a great alternative to Mario Kart. It's based on the 1999 title and features lovely new graphics, but there are several new tracks and features to keep things fresh. Its performance is solid, and it's tougher than most karting games out there due to its turbo drifting system, a positive if you want a challenge. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is a game that I feel doesn't get the credit it deserves. I really enjoyed my time with this Wonder Boy sequel. It's fantastic, it looks great, and it features some really cracking mechanics. I love the fact that you can play as lots of different animals throughout the game, and it just looks vibrant and plays that way too. For some reason, this one doesn't seem to have had the success that I think it should have. So now that it's on sale, hopefully it will pick up a little bit and more people get to experience this great platformer. Monster Hunter Generations was released in 2016. They added about 20 new big boy monsters, lots of new areas and new gear, and defined it as the Ultimate Edition and launched it on the Nintendo Switch at 40% off. If you enjoy this type of game, you can't go wrong really. It follows the tried and tested game mechanics of going out, killing monsters, getting great loot, and then heading back and doing it all over again. There's so much content here to be had, and it's good fun to play with mates as well. I was really impressed with God Eater 3. Like Monster Hunter before it, it follows the same format of going out, slaying massive beasties and heading back to your base camp before doing it all over again. What separates this from that though is the fact that the battles aren't quite so long. That personally suits me. I find that some of the hunts in Monster Hunter take forever, whereas in God Eater, even the longer ones take maybe 10-12 minutes. Not too big a feat. Overall, this one looks great, plays great, and features a surprising amount of depth. Secret of Mana from the SNES is hands down one of the best ever RPGs made. M2, the same team that worked on both the Contra and Castlevania collections for Konami, also did this collection for Square Enix. Along with Final Fantasy Adventure, Mystic Quest in Europe, and Trials of Mana, this is 3 classic titles in one package. I was extremely happy with the job that Toys for Bob did with Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. They managed to keep the gameplay exactly as I remember it, whilst updating the graphics completely from scratch. Crash Bandicoot used to look very blocky in that polygon style that we remember from the PS1, and now he and the environments look gorgeous. This game is still good fun to this day, although some parts of it do feel a little bit dated. And that's it from me today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Whew, there were a lot of games on sale. These are on sale until the 13th of October, so you've got a bit of time to figure out which ones you want to pick up. Do let me know below what you're considering. And do remember, if you enjoyed this video, then please do consider subscribing. We're giving away a Switch Lite when we get to 50,000 subscribers as a thank you. I'm James Amero here at SwitchWatch. I'll see you again on the next one. Take care, everybody.